The journey begins with a single sperm, one of millions released in a single ejaculation. This tiny, determined cell, propelled by its powerful tail, embarks on a perilous voyage through the acidic environment of the vagina. It navigates the narrow passage of the cervix, a gateway controlled by a mucus plug that filters out weaker sperm. The successful sperm then enters the uterus, a muscular organ that will eventually house the developing baby. The uterus, lined with a nourishing lining called the endometrium, provides a temporary haven for the sperm as it continues its journey towards the fallopian tubes. This is where the true race begins. The sperm, guided by chemical signals released by the egg, swims against a current created by tiny hair-like structures called cilia lining the fallopian tubes. Only the strongest and most resilient sperm will survive this arduous journey to reach their ultimate destination, the egg. Deep within the fallopian tube, a single egg awaits. Released from the ovary during ovulation, the egg is a large, immobile cell surrounded by a protective layer called the zona pellucida. When a sperm finally reaches the egg, it must first penetrate this outer layer. Using enzymes in its head, the sperm breaks down the zona pellucida, allowing it to fuse with the egg's membrane. This fusion, a moment of incredible intimacy and profound biological significance, marks the moment of fertilization. Once a sperm has entered the egg, a chemical reaction occurs, preventing any other sperm from penetrating. The nuclei of the sperm and egg, each carrying half of the genetic material needed to create a new human being, fuse together. This union creates a single cell called a zygote, containing a complete set of chromosomes. It is this single cell that holds the blueprint for a unique individual. The newly formed zygote, cradled within the fallopian tube, doesn't stay a single cell for long. It embarks on a period of rapid cell division known as cleavage. The zygote divides into 2 cells, then 4, then 8, and so on, with each division creating smaller and smaller cells. As the cells divide, they also begin to differentiate, taking on specialized roles. Some cells will form the placenta, the organ that will nourish the developing baby. Others will form the embryo itself. Throughout this process of division and differentiation, the zygote, now called a morula, continues its journey down the fallopian tube towards the uterus. By the time it reaches the uterus, around 5 days after fertilization, the morula has transformed into a blastocyst, a hollow ball of cells surrounding a fluid-filled cavity. Section 4. Finding a home implantation in the uterus. The blastocyst, now ready to find a home, floats freely within the uterus for a short time. The endometrium, primed by hormones released during ovulation, has thickened and become engorged with blood vessels, preparing for the possibility of pregnancy. Guided by chemical signals, the blastocyst attaches itself to the endometrium, a process called implantation. Cells from the blastocyst burrow into the uterine lining, anchoring the developing embryo securely in place. Once implanted, the blastocyst continues to develop, forming 2 distinct layers: the inner cell mass, which will become the embryo, and the trophoblast, which will become the placenta. The placenta, a vital organ, will act as a lifeline between the mother and the developing baby, transporting oxygen and nutrients and removing waste products. Section 5, a symphony of growth, the embryonic period. With implantation complete, the embryonic period begins, a time of rapid growth and organ development. Over the next 8 weeks, the embryo transforms from a cluster of cells into a recognizable human form. The heart, the first organ to develop, begins to beat around week 3. The neural tube, which will become the brain and spinal cord, forms early on. Limb buds appear and gradually fingers and toes begin to emerge. By the end of the embryonic period, all the major organ systems have begun to form, although they are not yet fully functional. The embryo, now approximately an inch long, has a recognizable human form with a head, a torso, and tiny limbs. Section 6. The dawn of humanity, the emergence of the fetus. The transition from embryo to fetus, occurring around week 9, marks a significant milestone. The fetal period is characterized by continued growth and maturation of the organ systems. The fetus grows rapidly, its bones hardening, its muscles developing. The brain undergoes significant development with billions of neurons forming connections. The fetus begins to move, kicking its legs and flexing its arms. As the weeks progress, the fetus's senses develop. It can hear sounds from the outside world, and its eyes, although still fused shut, are sensitive to light. The lungs mature, preparing for the day when the baby will take its first breath. The journey from a single cell to a fully formed baby is a testament to the incredible power of human biology. It is a process filled with wonder, a symphony of growth and development that culminates in the miracle of birth.